So something I've been thinking about recently is that one of the big problems for young adult Catholics right now is young adult groups, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And I'm not saying that we should abolish young adult groups by any means, but many young adults are trying to figure out life. They're trying to figure out a lot of little fundamental details that for whatever reason they were never instructed on. I know people who work for senators, I know engineers, I know professionals in just about every discipline who are young adults who don't know some pretty basic stuff. And then how do our parishes support these people? By putting them in a group with a bunch of other people who might be dealing with the same thing. And a lot of them are just run by those same young adults, right? There's no adults, there's no experience to help the inexperienced, you know? And the thing is, when we feel like an institution exists to solve a problem, we trust that institution to do its job, right? Like, if we are driving down the street and we see a house on fire, we don't say, "Oh, where can I get water?" We say, "Where is the fire department?" Right? Same thing with a young adult group. If we see young adults in our parish who are struggling, we don't say, "How can I help them?" We say, "Oh, but we have a young adult group." You see, you see how that doesn't quite address the issue. If I were to be very pointed about this, I think the comment I would make is, if you have kids and there's some young adult in your parish that you would not trust to give advice to your kids because they are not sufficiently formed as a human being, that's your fault. That's you as a person who is experienced enough to know what good advice is, to say, this younger person doesn't know enough about what they're doing to give advice to my kids. It's on you to give that person advice. It's on you to back that person up. I believe it's St. Augustine who says, when we have the opportunity to do a good thing, to build up the church, and we choose not to do it for not a good reason. There are potentially prudential reasons that you might not want to give some advice, something like that. But a lot of that is stretching it. Your community is your responsibility. And I know a lot of young adults who are out there doing work and working hard. But you can't know how much you don't know, you know? There are things that you don't know that you don't know. And with a lot of young adults, that's a lot of things. Sun. There's going to be a minute here where we get out of the sun before I continue this. Thank you for your patience. If the production values were higher, there would be a jump cut there. But sadly, production values are a budget basement. But a lot of times when involving the young people, young adults want to be involved in a parish, and that involvement often comes out to, oh, they want to be involved, great, we'll put them to work. That's not what anybody wants. What they want is to be, they don't want somebody to give them work. They want someone to give them time. They want to be part of the community. A lot of the people who've been in a parish for many years have that community. Young people, very often, have moved there for a job or some other thing, and they don't have that community. And what they need is someone to help them find that. We have to rethink what that looks like in the parish and rethink the involvement of young adult groups and young adult programs in providing that. So, and this is not a strange idea. The idea of giving someone time, giving someone trust, building relationships instead of just kind of flinging a task at them and saying, here, prove that you can do stuff. If they have a job, they can probably do stuff. What's needed is we can think of another disconnected population, senior citizens in nursing homes, which are possibly just as much of a bane on this country as, I hesitate to say abortion, but it's pretty close. You're killing a person at one stage in life, killing a person at another stage in life is still killing a person. And death by loneliness will kill you just as surely. But what would it be like if we just went to our seniors in nursing homes and said, here is some cord, make a rosary. We're not going to sit and chat. We're not going to talk about life. We're not going to form any kind of relationship, but here, I've done my duty. Make a rosary. Tie some knots. It'll take you all day because your fingers don't work anymore, but tie some knots. We are justifiably shocked by that proposal, but we should be just as shocked with proposals of integrating new members in a parish community by giving them tasks without providing any kind of relationship.